There was once a young man who traveled across mountains and seas to meet a wise old master known for his unmatched wisdom. The young man was brilliant, full of dreams, and eager to learn the secrets of success and inner peace. When he finally arrived, he bowed deeply and said, "Master, I have studied countless books, attended many lectures, and practiced many techniques, but still, I find no peace. Please, teach me the secret." The old master smiled gently and said, "Very well, but first, join me for tea." The young man agreed. The master poured tea into the young man's cup. It filled to the brim and then began to overflow. "Stop! Stop!" the young man exclaimed. "Can't you see? The cup is full." The master looked at him calmly and said, "Just like this cup, your mind is full of opinions, assumptions, fears, and knowledge you think you already have. How can I teach you anything new unless you empty your mind?" The young man sat in silence. In that moment, he understood. From that day onward, he stopped trying to prove how much he knew. He started listening, observing, and learning. And soon, life began to reveal its wisdom, not through noise, but through silence. You see, this story is about you. Most people walk through life carrying too much, too many fears, too many regrets, too many what-ifs. Their minds are so full of noise that they can't hear the quiet whispers of opportunity, peace, and growth. To truly grow, you must empty your mind. Let go of what you think you know. Let go of fear. Let go of the past. When your mind is empty, it becomes open. And when it's open, life can pour its wisdom into it. So today, stop talking for a moment. Stop thinking about your failures. Stop worrying about the future. Sit still. Breathe. Listen. The truth you've been seeking isn't out there, it's been waiting for you inside, all along. But first, you must empty your mind. Act 1, The Fall, midnight to 8 o'clock. Ethan Cole was the kind of man who didn't just dream, he built his dreams. At 32, he was one of the youngest architects in the city to win a government contract for a skyscraper that was meant to touch the clouds. He was sharp, driven, focused, and maybe just a little too proud. Ethan believed he had life figured out. Success was his identity. Perfection was his religion. He woke up every morning with a list in his mind, goals to crush, deadlines to dominate, and people to impress. But life, as it always does, had its own blueprint. The cracks began small. A delayed delivery here, a design flaw there. Then one morning, during an inspection, a structural error was found in his design, a calculation mistake that compromised safety. The media went wild. Investors pulled out. The company he worked for blamed him. Overnight, Ethan's world collapsed. His job, gone. His reputation, shattered. And the woman he thought would stand by him forever, left, saying she couldn't handle the chaos anymore. Days turned into nights of silence. Nights into weeks of numbness. He sat in his apartment surrounded by sketches, blueprints, and memories of a man who no longer existed. Ethan's mind became a storm, filled with anger, regret, and endless questions. Why me? How did everything go wrong? What's the point of trying again? He drank. He stopped answering calls. He stared at the ceiling at 3 a.m. wondering if the world would even notice if he disappeared. Then, one rainy night, Ethan decided to leave the city. He packed a small bag, took his car, and drove, without direction, without a plan, until the road ran out. That's when he saw it. A small wooden sign by the mountain road read, "The Silent Path Retreat. Act 2, The Stranger, 8 to 1500 hours." Ethan walked through the gate, soaked and exhausted. The place was peaceful, no noise, no phones, just the sound of rain and wind moving through trees. An old man in plain gray clothes stood near the entrance, sweeping fallen leaves. He looked up, smiled, and said softly, "You look like someone carrying too much." Ethan gave a tired half-smile. "You could say that. the old man nodded. Then perhaps you've come to the right place. His name was Master Ray, a retired engineer who had once built great bridges across the world, until he gave up everything to build something else, peace. Ray offered Ethan a place to stay, a small room with a thin mattress, no TV, no mirror, no distractions. The next morning, Ethan expected wisdom, lectures, or therapy. Instead, Ray handed him a bucket and said, "Fetch water from the well." That was all. The next day, he asked Ethan to build a small stone path. No blueprints. No design. No purpose. Just stones and silence. 4 days, Ethan worked, confused and frustrated. He was an architect, not a laborer. He wanted answers, not chores. Finally, one morning, he snapped. "What's the point of all this, he show?" 4 days, Ethan worked, confused and frustrated. He was an architect, not a laborer. He wanted answers, not chores. Finally, one morning, he snapped. "What's the point of all this?" he shouted. "I came here for guidance, not meaningless work." Ray looked at him calmly and said, "Your mind is like this bucket." He held up the old metal bucket Ethan had been using, dented, rusted, and filled with muddy water. "You're trying to build a new life while your mind is still full of the old one. Until you empty it, nothing new can enter." Ethan stood in silence. "Do you understand, Ethan?" the master continued. "You cannot rebuild your life with a mind full of yesterday." That night, Ethan couldn't sleep. The old man's words echoed in his head. He realized his mind was full of regret, fear, pride, guilt, and endless noise. For the first time, he cried, not from pain, but from release. Act 3, The Awakening, 15 to 2200 hours. Days turned into weeks. Ethan started following Ray's quiet routines. He woke with the sun. He meditated by the stream. He stopped checking his phone. He stopped thinking about the future. He simply was. At first, silence scared him. Then, it became his teacher. One morning, while watching sunlight shimmer across the water, something shifted in him. He realized that for years, he had been chasing recognition, not creation. He built for applause, not purpose. He lived to impress others, not to express himself. As he emptied his mind of comparison, something beautiful returned, clarity. Clarity gave birth to creativity. He began sketching again, not skyscrapers, but small houses, bridges, temples, designs filled with balance, space, and peace. Master Ray often watched quietly, smiling. "Now," he said one day, "you are building from emptiness, not ego." Ethan laughed. "I feel lighter, like I can breathe again." "That," Ray said, "is because you've stopped holding on." Months passed. Ethan learned the art of simplicity, how less is often more, how silence can heal more than words, how surrender can be the start of strength. He started helping at the retreat, teaching visitors how to draw, how to focus, how to create from stillness. For the first time in years, he wasn't trying to be happy. He simply was. Act 4, The Rise, 2200 hours, 30:00. 3 years later, Ethan returned to the city. But this time, he wasn't chasing redemption, he was carrying peace. He walked through the same streets that once whispered his failures. But now, they no longer had power over him. He had a new vision, not to build the tallest building, but to build one that stood for balance, serenity, and renewal. He met investors, not with arrogance, but with authenticity. He designed a building that wasn't just made of glass and steel, it was made of meaning. A design inspired by his journey, open spaces, flowing air, natural light. He called it the Empty Mind Tower. When it opened, people were moved. It wasn't the biggest building in the city, but it became the most visited. Inside, there were quiet rooms, open gardens, and spaces designed to help people slow down and breathe. Ethan stood on the rooftop one evening, the sunset painting the sky gold. He thought of Ray, the man who taught him that true wisdom begins when the noise ends. He whispered softly. Thank you. A breeze swept through the rooftop, gentle, warm, peaceful. Ethan smiled. He finally understood that success was never about how high you climb. It's about how calm you remain when the world shakes beneath you. Because a mind that is full cannot grow. But a mind that is empty can hold the universe.